In fact, if we've already touched on this subject, I wanted to ask a question here that Marcelin sent to you, and that has to do with this. Can I bring it up here? Marcelin, thank you for sending that. Robertinho, we can share your career as a musician into before Van Halen and after Van Halen. How did he influence you the most? What do you think? Could you please share what aspects or qualities of Eduardo Van Halen captured your attention or interest the most, and why they stood out to you in particular? Let's go. He asked about Van Halen. Who was the guy that really marked a turning point in your career? What else did he influence you on?
Well, just before I saw Ed here in Rio.
In what year did you meet Van Halen?
Man, I met him by chance, like I didn't really know him.
You didn't know his sound wheel.
His sound. Man, it was before they came to do the show here. But what I felt, I already had. Something happened that they were with Warner, right? So I was at Warner once, and they were there. Got it. I said, who are these guys? So some long-haired guys like that. They're coming to work here, their album, they're going to do a show there, it's a band. Dutch. They were Dutch.
You don't remember what year that was, more or less? 80, around there.
It was during the time of Sobe e Cobra with Jorge Halen at the festival.
Anything?
Yeah, you know, the first Van Halen show here.
The first Van Halen show in Brazil?
So, man. And then listen, those guys are going to be there. I got the guy's album. It was Warner that gave it to me as a gift. So I said, man, I was woman, children first, I think. And then I said like this. I said, man, you know, this guy is really cool. His tone is fantastic. Now, that thing happened at the show.
1983. 83, a year before I was born. Ha ha ha.
So, man, when I went to watch the show, that guy comes out with an insane tone with a totally scratched up guitar. Even Marcelão Suzequinde was, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. The Eva 12 that opened. But when those guys came in, the thing that impressed me the most, of course, Eda's technique was something else. Now, the thing that truly touched my soul was like, man, what incredible joy this guy absolutely plays with deeply. I said I lost that joy because I was completely lost. I was living in a recording studio. I was recording with one, but I wasn't happy. I said, man, that happiness with music, with everything, it really, truly, indeed, absolutely got to me. The sparkle in his eyes, him playing, laughing the whole time. There, jumping around, having fun, creating with freedom and enjoying every moment. To express his pains, his craziness there, being extravagant. However he wanted, being ridiculous, however he wanted, with that striped jumpsuit of his, you know. I said, wow. 10th, man, you know. So I said, man, what a wonder. That did my soul so much good. And then I just started listening more, pay more attention to his work, you know. It's true that, it's not copying, but he had brought so many new techniques that I said, wow, I'm going to absorb these techniques. Tapping, hammer on, hammer off, you know. So, all those things. I used to use leverage already of whammy bar. But he managed to solve the problem with the locking mechanism so it wouldn't go out of tune. With my Strats, everything would go out of tune, man. So, and then I started to explore more deeply the kind of metal he was making.
Hard rock, right?
It's hard rock. It was really close to the stuff I liked. From Zeppelin, even from Pigs, you know. It all made sense. He came from that thing. bands too that I really liked. Like from Provence. You know,
They had this thing with keyboards too, which was, well,
but the keyboard came later. It was later. And he supported the jumping, right?
jump, right? But like they never denied having a very accessible vibe. They didn't want to be an underground thing from the start. They wanted to be accessible. So playing on the radio, playing on television, man.
There was also a dance vibe there, right?
Let me put it over here just to clear it up.
There was dance in the street, you know? Songs that dance in the street, which was a funk thing. Pretty Woman, was that Roy Orbison? I don't know what. They had something there too. Super cool that I could relate to. I knew well. In show business, what did that mean? Did you get it?
So you sum up Ed Van Halen because, in fact, both his behavior, the sound, the techniques, he's a guy who brought a lot of things. He literally brought a lot of new things to the table and really became an icon because the band transcended the whole guitarist thing, right? It became a stadium band, right?
Yeah. So I really admire Ed. He brought a lot of contributions to the instrument. Really, yeah. Another guy who knows a lot about harmony. Very good harmonically. His techniques. He has a fantastic right hand. It's not just the left hand. He has a claw, right? The guy has a hand. And perfect, man.
Because of improvisation, right? You can see that his solos, if you take a solo by Beard, for example, that the crowd.
I think there were solos that they were so successful that he had to learn how did he do it.
The rhythm of the solo, rhythmically, you can see that it's very loose, right?
Yeah. And he also, even when he plays something he's done before, there's always a little something here and there that doesn't end up being exactly the same. Got it. There's always a little something. He adds one more thing. He finishes it differently. He plays around like Woman. Woman has that thing. I was impressed by him because of that. And what's impressive is Ingrid's mastery. Man, I watched the Monster of Rock from on stage. He would come by from time to time and play right in front of me. Just like this camera, it's right here. He would be there playing. I see Ali. So since I'm right in front of you, seeing how you're handling everything here, and he's amazing. Dude, he grabs the pick, throws it away, and doesn't miss a beat. Dude.
Sound on, loud for the house, and he
masters the complex. He grabs the guitar, throws it over there, and comes back in no time. Right, he doesn't miss a thing, and he stands out. He stands out.
He really stands out.
Including those G3s that happen throughout life. The guy, it's tough to play alongside him. The guys. Do you think people never called him because it would be too hard? There's no excuse.
He was called, it was Vai, Satriani, and Malmsteen. It seems like it only happened once, but first of all, he plays louder than everyone else.
Have you noticed that?
Dude, I saw him once. I remember he played there. I walked into the theater. Dude, the sound was so loud that I had to sit way in the back because it was unbearable. The volume of the sound, whoever was in the front row went deaf. Dude, how does he manage to play with that wall of sound? Everything's connected, right? How does he manage to control the dynamics, right?
It's impressive. Dude, we have to get it right. What's right, you know? Dude, so you can't criticize a musician because you don't know either. How long did it take him to develop that? You have to respect that. Respect. You can see, as we were mentioning, even Chimbinha. Chimbinha is a guy that many people talk about. Oh, I don't know what. Come on, dude. The guy has a lot to show. Everyone has got it. Everyone does. Like everyone you mentioned, what do you think? I don't know what. Respect everyone. Everyone has something to show. That's right. There's that thing about the vibe sometimes of the guy. You're blue and he's red, you know? This thing. So, But taking out. So I think the team thing, you have to arrive and respect the guy's work. It was the guy's effort to get there and see if he has a voice. And Chimbinya has a voice.
Totally. And the protagonist with his guitar, right? In a band that had a vocalist, both the singer and he were important. People wanted to see Chimbinya play in Jolma.
That was his idea.
Exactly. It is. But he wasn't a guy who stayed in the background.
The vibe is his idea, man.
Yeah.
So I produced him. I produced a track of his with Zay Ramalho and saw how competent he is at it. I had the chance to test him out like that on site. Like seeing there, like, no.
Please calm down. He called me in the middle of the morning from yesterday to today, but you were sleeping, right? I woke up and there was an audio message. Mateus, I'm watching here right now. I was watching our podcast. Wonderful thing, I'm eating some fish here with my friend. Wonderful thing, our chat, right? We talked about guitar. We need to talk about those boring things, right? That's really cool, man.
Man, it's a shame that, for example, up in the Northeast, there are a lot of cool guys too. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about those who have passed, because they are people who now, if someone remembers, the journey that this particular group is embarking on now is quite an interesting one. It includes not only the original members, but also the addition of new guitarists, which brings a fresh dynamic to their Paul Rafael, who played with Alcho. Wonderful. He created a great body of work. And if it was not long ago, Ivinho too, who was a guy from Ave Sangria, who never really became well known, but he had an incredible talent. Got it. And so many others here, like Lani himself, the chubby guy, who was a guy. Who was a guy from the beginning, who played with Caetano. For a while, he recorded Uncle Electro's Outfit. That record there, he recorded with Gil, too. They are wonderful, talented musicians who were part of this, let's say, the beginning of it all. Got it. Serginho Diaz Batista, who is fantastic. Like, Serginho at the time was one of the guys who really impressed me. Serginho, great taste. He was one of the most creative guys in the world at the time. It's because the original is just a little thing. It's not even 5 years old, yeah. But Serginho, we did shows together in a project called Guitarra Brazil that we worked on together. I invited him and I didn't, man. I have a lot of respect for him.
It really is. It's therefore.
And there are things in their work that he's definitely going to do there, especially on the first album. There, Panicet Insistensis. What a wonderful thing, man. That solo from Bat Macumba, the guy doesn't even know what a guitar is. That thing got it. But there's no other album in the world with that sound. There isn't. And he was very smart. So, there it is. Super Brazilian playing, super. They would put things like that. Fantastic. Serginho, I respect you a lot.
Serginho, genius, man. Man, I'm speechless.